I think the fans can expect a whole lot of new twists and turns. There's some things that even our super fans probably won't be able to figure out or guess, because there's some things that are going to happen. And then what happens to my character, she will shed some innocence and she will start to mature and use her voice a lot more this season.
It's too late to be scared now.
What's going on, fam? It's your man, VACAY-J, and yes, we are finally here for Power Book 2 Ghosts, Season 2, Episode 1, and this is the recap. And again, if you're new to the channel, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, absolutely like, comment below with any thoughts, any theories, and we're going to break down and recap Episode 1 of Season 2. We've been waiting for a while for this, so let's get into it. So the title of this episode is Free Will is Never Free. And the description says Tariq tries to resume his normal college life. Brayden provides Tariq an escape. Monet makes plans for the business to protect her children. Kane seeks out new family to take the streets for himself. So it starts off with, looks like a flashback image of Professor Jabari Reynolds. And Tariq is standing over him and he's begging him not to do this, not to shoot him. And of course, you know, Tariq takes out the gun, takes out the strap, and he blasts him. And once he does, he wakes up. He was dreaming, having a nightmare, having a flashback. And he wakes up and he's not in his bed, but he's trying to figure out exactly where he is, but he's trying to catch his bearings and everything else like that. And, you know, pretty much we started off with him just really kind of looking around and looking at a picture of him and Tasha, right? Him and his mom. And he definitely is missing his mom right now. It's been a while since she's going under witness protection. So he's looking at his burner and he's looking at the text messages just to see if, you know, she texted him or anything like that. Then all of a sudden there's a scream like, help, help, help. And he runs into the kitchen and there's Yasmin and there's a fire going on in the kitchen. Right. So, of course, you know, he runs to the rescue and gets some baking soda, puts out the fire. She's like, how did you know how to do that? And he's like, Mom, you know, taught us how to do that when we were your age. Then Grandma comes in, you know, the fire alarm's going off. And, you know, Tariq is standing there with Yasmin and she's just yelling at Yasmin like, yeah, you know, what are you trying to do? Burn down the house. She takes a piece of bacon and she puts it in the mouth. She bites it, says, I like my bacon crispy, not burnt. And, you know, Tariq is just defending her like, yeah, she's too young to be doing all this by herself. And he's saying, yeah, you know, I stayed over. And she's like, when did you get here? He's like, I stayed over. I came last night. So Tariq asks, you know, Yasmin if she's still drinking. And Yasmin's like, yeah, it's getting worse, Tariq. Can you stay here with us? So obviously she doesn't feel safe because Grandma's been drinking and all of that. And definitely Tariq has some decisions to make. Now we shoot over to Monet's house and she's going through some paperwork or whatever. And she's just doing what she's doing. All of a sudden, she hears a glass break, like somebody's breaking in the house. So she's like, uh-oh, what's going on? And then she starts flashing back to, you know, people that she, you know, took out with the strap. She goes to the safe, takes out the strap, goes down the hallway. She sees Diana and tells Diana, listen, go get the strap, stay in your room. If I don't come back, definitely jump out the window and take Drew with you. So she goes downstairs with the gun, with the strap, only to see it's just Drew in the kitchen with his arm in a sling. He obviously, you know, dropped a glass and he was going to clean it up and everything else like that. So, of course, Monet's like, listen, you almost gave me a heart attack. You know, Diana goes downstairs. She sees what's going on. She's like, hey, Drew, are you okay? And he's like, I wish people would stop asking me for that, asking me if I'm okay. And, you know, basically, you know, he got shot. And him getting shot definitely affected him. And he definitely is blaming Monet for him getting shot. But Diana's trying to tell him that, hey, listen, it's not Mom's fault, you know. And she's like, listen, I can help you with your dressing. And Drew was just like, nah, you know, Diana's going to help me out. You know, so Diana's really like, listen, man, stop blaming Mom. You know, she definitely cares about you. And, you know, Drew is really having bad feelings towards Monet right now. So now we hit the block and we see your boy Mecca and Little Guap and also Kane, and they're coming out of the club. Guess they was in the club all night, saying it was all good. And Kane is asking questions like, hey, yeah, you ran with Big Wow. He's like, yeah, we had some licks together. And he's like, yeah, you probably know my dad. And he's like, yeah, Tejada. He said, yeah, I heard of him, but I never met him. Where's he at? So he's locked up. You didn't know that? And Mecca's like, yo, are you trying to test me right now? And all of a sudden, these two cats come out with the straps, and they're like, yo, you killed my brother, da 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 da, talking to Kane and talking to Little Guap, telling him he's a traitor. But of course, Mecca comes out of nowhere, grabs the strap, turns around, gets one of the shooters, shoots him down. They're shooting at the car and everything else like that. The car gets away. Kane pulls out his strap, and yeah, they go back and forth with it. And yeah, we see Mecca. He definitely got some skills, some tactical skills. And he has the guy on the ground. The guy's like, please, please, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, now you want to be polite. I don't like rude people. And then he takes him out. So Mecca's like, yo, these guys, the Little Guap? He's like, nah, not anymore. And Kane was like, yeah, I had beef with them. And Mecca's like, yeah, you don't have any beef with them no more. And he walks away. Now, we shoot over to Davis McClain. And Davis McClain is getting ready for a TV show. And Soledad comes through. She has entered the Power Universe. And we see your boy Sax come through as well, right? It says, welcome to tonight's guest, Davis McClain. Big time lawyer, man. So they're going back and forth. Davis McClain introduces Sax to Soledad. And, he's like, yeah, this is my associate, right? So, looking at this dynamic duo, this is going to be a pretty funny, scene here. And he's like, listen, yeah, it's McClain and associates. You're my associates. But, Sax is like, yo, I'm supposed to be a partner. Anyway, so McClain gets a call. And he gets a call and he's talking on the phone. He's like, yeah, how can I help you? Da 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 da. And come to find out, it's Tariq. And Tariq is like, listen, man, I need your help. Stop playing games. And Tariq is really trying to find out if he can get in contact with his mom. He really misses his mother. And, there's something going on with, grandma. So he needs to talk to her. So Davis McClain is talking to Sax and he's asking Sax, hey, listen, can you find out whether Tariq can get in contact with his mom, being that she's in witness protection? So we're going to find out about that. Now you got your boy Zeke. He's on the college campus playing ball with another player, and he's getting it in. It's been a while since he's been playing ball, a lot going on, a lot of distractions. But he's talking to the guy, and he's like, hey, listen, it's been a while since I've been playing. I could play another year of college ball and all this and that, but, I want to definitely go to the pros. So the guy's like, listen, man, your body, your fitness. If you want to take it to that next level, go ahead and do that. It's on you. So now we got Tariq, and he's on campus. He sees your boy Braden. And Braden and him is talking about a party coming up and everything else like that, but they're also talking about, business as well. So Braden pretty much wants Tariq to come to kind of be like a buffer or distraction because he knows attention is going to be on him. His uncle's going to be there, and his father's going to give him like gifts and stuff like that. So, Tariq is like, I see what you're doing. I'll think about it, and I'll let you know. All right, now, as we move on, we see Tariq now is in school. He's about to go to class, and Lauren rolls up, and she's like, hey, I've been trying to reach you. I heard your mom got out. Is everything okay? How you doing? He's like, yeah, I've just been focused on the family and everything. So Professor Milgram comes out. She's like, yeah, where's Jabari at? She calls him because he didn't show up. Of course, Tariq is like, yeah, I know why he's not going to show up because he's definitely not alive, right? So she opens up the class and they go and they start talking about ethics and they start talking about, free will. That's the name of the episode, right? Is free will free? So they're having that discussion in class, whether free will is free, whether it's predestined or, based on our backgrounds and everything, or are we the ones to determine our destiny? Are we the ones to determine exactly where we're going to be going, what we're going to be doing, and how we're going to be doing things? So they're having a pretty deep discussion in class, but they're definitely talking about how people kind of determine your destiny, determine what you want to do without you even knowing it. So we see Diana here. She's in the, place and she's trying on a dress and she's really feeling it, right? She's really feeling herself and really feeling how it's looking. I mean, she's looking real nice. But of course, Monet, Mama Monet, she's like, what the heck are you wearing? And she's like, I like it. I like it. And, she's like, what's wrong with it? I really like how it looks. She's showing a little skin or whatever. But Mama Monet, she's like, take that thing off right now. I'm telling you, go back in there and take that outfit off. She does not want to see all of that, right? Then we see Sax, and Sax is getting fitted for an outfit. He's not really feeling it, but Davis McClain is trying to explain to him, listen, when you work for the government, you had to look a certain way, but when you're working with me, high-powered, lawyer, you gotta, definitely please the audience, please everybody, and look real good, right? So Monet's still shopping. She's picking up some Prada shoes, picking up some Louis and all of that. They're shooting back to the class. They're still having that discussion on free will and the consequences of it, as far as what you do and what the consequences are. And, Tariq definitely is reminiscing on Professor Jabari Reynolds and how he shot the professor. Now we see Kamal. He's walking down the steps and he sees his brother Rashad all laid out, with a bottle in his hand. He's waking him up. He's like, listen, man, you got to get up, man. I'm trying to watch TV and you're on my couch. Understand, that you lost the race. He's like, nah, it was stolen from me. He's like, listen, man, you're a Tate. You definitely got to stand up and get yourself together, man. Figure it out, but definitely get off my couch or find another place to stay, right? So then we see Diana and Monet, and they're loading up packages. They're loading up the product, and they're putting it in the product bags, the Louis boxes, and everything else like that. That's how they're going to move the weight from where it is to the house. So they load up the trunk with product bags, look like they went shopping, and that's how they're moving the weight. Back at the school, Tariq is getting the page and everything else like that. And Professor Milgram's like, listen, we haven't heard from you, Tariq. What are your thoughts on what we're talking about? And Tariq, of course, is thinking about, the consequences that they were talking about. Again, he's thinking about how he, shot Professor Jabari Reynolds. And he's talking in class like, listen, we pretty much have to, take responsibility for the consequences that we have. And the guy's like, listen, it's all predetermined. It's like, how is it predetermined, man? When you walk across the street, you look both ways, right? So don't even say that it is when it's not, right? So now Monet's like, hey, listen, I got to go get something for Drew. So stay in the car, don't move. I'll be right back. I got to go get something. So, of course, she's just like, yo, we got weight in the trunk and you got me sitting here, man. It's like real dangerous, but whatever. So when she comes back after getting what she needs for Drew, she sees that the cops are all around the car talking to Diana. Now, this is definitely dangerous, right? She got the weight in the trunk, got a whole bunch of product in the trunk. Of course, Monet, she got the strap. She's ready for whatever's about to go down. And the guy's talking, but he doesn't look like he's pulling her out of the car or anything else like that. So they get back into their car, and Diana's still, in the car, like all safe, but she's smiling because she has a card in her hand. Like I said before, my final predictions looked like he was trying to holler at her. And, Monet's like, yo, what happened? He's like, yeah, I'm just doing what you taught me. Just kind of smile, flirt a lot. And, definitely he gave me his card. He wanted to holler at me and all this and that. She's like, okay, I see you. I see you learning what I'm, all of that, right? So, of course, she's feeling good about it. She's smiling and cheesing. And Monet's like, stop all that smiling and get us home, right? So she's like, okay, back to being a little girl. Being a little girl again. Let me just drive up on out of here. Now we got Drew. He's at the house, and there's something on his bed. Looks like it's the present from Monet. He doesn't know what it is. He's looking at it pretty strange, and gonna find out it's some drawing tools, right? It's a sketch pad and some pencils and stuff like that. Drew is an artist. So, Drew's like, okay, I see what's going on here, da-da-da. So he pulls it out, and he takes off his sling, to his right arm because he's a righty. And he's trying to draw, but he gets all frustrated, throws it away because, he's still not right yet. Now on the block, we see Tariq has decided to go to this party with your boy Braden. And Braden's like, hey, listen, man, this is like, I'm tired of this stuff. And Tariq is like, yo, man, you about to get a gift and all this and that. Got the Mercedes Benz and all that. What are you complaining about, right? So he's just like, yo, I don't like all this stuff, right? So that's his Father Day. He's giving him a hug. He's like, okay, this is the annual family thing that we're doing. And they're talking about, Stansfield and talking about all their old memories. And his uncle's there. And his uncle, come to find out, is, a governor as well. And he's definitely into politics. And they're talking. And he's talking to Braden. And Braden's like, listen, I definitely want to get into sales. And he looks at Tariq like, I want to get into sales. And as far as like, yeah, that's definitely a good thing to get into. So, the uncle's just like messing up Tariq's name. And, he's talking to Tariq like, oh, yeah, you look like you're a good student, da-da-da. And Braden's like, yo, he's top of the line type of student. And Tariq is just like, listen, all the government, you don't know my father and da-da-da-da. He's like, listen, how much money have you taken from Big Pharma, and all this and that. So the guy's just like real uncomfortable, but he shows his intelligence to the guy. Then you got Detective Whitman, and he rolls up to the spot, and they say, listen, they found a murder weapon possibly, and the marks on it show that it goes to Detective Ramirez. So he's like, all right, just hold on to it. Don't let the press find out what's going on. We're going to continue this investigation. So he asked how long has the body been there, and they said at least for a day. And, he's definitely getting deeper and deeper and finding out more and more. But the investigation is about to really go down as things start to progress. Now your boy Rashad Tate, he rolls up to the spot and he talks to one of the political leaders. And he's like, really, man, you come to my house? He's like, listen, man, I definitely want to go after, that, governor who's running right now. He's like, listen, man, this guy's been in office for a long time. You got to find something really, really dirty on him in order for us to pick up anything and to support you again. Until that point, we're not really going to support you, because you lost to St. Patrick and everything else like that. So he's like, listen, I'm going to find out something. And when I do, you definitely going to do it. He's like, yo, do whatever you got to do, but we don't think it's going to happen. So now Rashad Tate has a purpose. He has a reason, and he's going after this other politician. Now, we shoot over to Professor Milgram, and she's talking to one of her friends. She's like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not going to, fall back into messing with Jabari or, messing with Zeke. I definitely want to, I'm meeting up with a guy, a detective that I used to mess around with a long time ago. We got good chemistry. So they meet up, and it's the detective that's on the case for Jabari, right? And he's like, listen, I got another place that we can go. It's good to see you. You're looking good. He's talking all good with her. He's like, she think they're going to lunch, but he takes her to the mortuary. And they take off the cover, and it's Jabari laying there. She is so surprised. This is the date from hell that she sees her ex laid up, and he started questioning her. Can you identify the body? And she's like, yeah, this is Jabari Reynolds, Professor Jabari Reynolds. And he's like, well, looks like you guys had a deep relationship. He's like, nah, that's my coworker, that's my associate. He's like, well, by your surprise, looked like you was messing around with him. She's like, yeah, a long time ago we was messing around. But he's just like, yeah, I know how you blur the lines between professional and personal. He's like, listen, we just need your help. We need a list of all the students, and we're going to question them. And she's like, listen, I'll help out, just if you have any other questions, talk to my lawyer. But he's just like, listen, we really need your help on this investigation. Now, you got Tariq, and Tariq is on campus. He's talking to Braden, and Braden's just like, yo, man, that was crazy, what was going on. I really want to continue in this game of just selling on campus. Like, we can really continue to make this happen. So Braden really just wants to stay around and keep doing what they've been doing as far as selling to the people. There was a reason that Tariq did it for his mom, but now there's no real purpose for it. Gonna find out everybody's getting text messages of the report that Jabari Reynolds, Professor Jabari Reynolds, was murdered. And everybody's like, oh my God, what's going on? Braden takes out his phone. He's like, did you know about it? And Tariq is like, oh my God, no, I didn't. I didn't know he was murdered. Of course, Tariq knows. And again, this is going to definitely cause some trouble for business for Tariq. Now we got Diana, she's sitting with Monet, and they're putting some, rounds into the clip. And it looks like, Diana's having a hard time. It's kind of hard to press the rounds into the clip like that. And Monet's trying to teach her. But Drew is definitely giving her encouraging words. He's like, hey, keep trying. I know it's frustrating, but you can do it. They got that brother-sister bond and all that. So, Monet starts to tell him, listen, I got to wait for us to get out of the game permanently. And Drew's like, why? Because I got shot. And she's like, yeah, because you got shot. And I don't want that to happen to the family. So she says how she's going to get Zeke to go pro, and how, Drew's going to have a position, and how Diana's going to have a position. And Diana's like, yo, is Zeke okay with this? Does Zeke know? And Monet's like, listen, Zeke is going to know, and he's going to do what I tell him to do. Meanwhile, Drew and Diana's just like, really? We're really going to be like puppets? We're going to work for him? And she's like, listen, this is what's going to get us out of the game. I don't want you guys around us anymore. I want to keep you guys safe and everything. And it's just too scary to have you guys into what's going on right now. So Monet gets the message as well that Jabari Reynolds was murdered. And of course, she's asking them, do you guys know about this? Do you know anything about this? And of course, they're like, no, we don't know anything about this. Now we shoot over to Tariq. He's definitely checking that burner, that is connected to his mom, because he's really trying to get in contact with his mom, because he's worrying about Yasmin. He's worrying about grandma. And he's turning on the phone. He's just trying to see if she's going to message him or anything, message him back for anything, right? So Lauren shows up to his spot, and she rolls in, and she's pretty upset. She's like, yeah, I'm just surprised. Who would want to kill Professor Jabari Reynolds? I'm really upset about it. And, Tariq is just kind of like, yeah, okay. Like, he really doesn't show any feelings about it, because we know that he's the one that shot him. But he explains to her, like, yo, there's been so many people murdered. My dad and other people have been murdered. And, it's just like another one after another one. So she's like, yeah, I want to hear. I want you to tell me what's going on. So, she tries to get him to confide in her. And, of course, they start kissing. They're about to start making out in the whole nine, right? And then, all of a sudden, Tariq gets a page. And he gets a page from Kane talking about, let's meet up right now. Let's get up right now. Okay, so once he gets that page, he's like, yo, I got to be out. So he goes to meet up with Kane. Tariq goes to meet up with Kane at a spot, right, secret location. And turn around, Kane is just like, yo, man, I saw on the news, man, I can't take the fall for this, man. You said Ramirez was going to get, the blame for this, but it didn't happen. And Tariq is like, yo, man, just calm down, man. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine, man. You just bugging out right now. Nothing's going to be tied to you or me, just as long as we don't say anything, man. And, Kane is real nervous about it. He's like, yo, man, for real, I don't want this to be tied to me. I can't be connected to this right now. It's too much going on for me. And again, Tariq is just like, yo, man, you bugging out. Just chill. Nothing's going to happen. As long as we don't say anything, they will find the weapon. And don't worry about it. He's really trying to calm him down. All right. Now, Professor Milgram, she opens up the door. And, it looks like she goes to see Zeke. And Zeke has been trying to contact her, with everything going on with, Professor Jabari Reynolds. She's real upset about it. And she's upset that, that detective did her wrong the way that he did her. So, of course, they start making out. You already know what's about to happen. He's about to clap them cheeks. That's how she, handles her pain. She goes and she has, sexual relations. All right. Now, Tariq goes to the Tejada family house. Looks like Monet and the family cooked dinner, and she's sitting down with the family, and she's talking to Tariq, and she's asking Tariq, hey, listen, man, do you know anything about this Professor Jabari Reynolds? Do you know anything? And he's like, nah, I don't know anything. I have no idea what's going on, and they're questioning him as to, how he doesn't know, because that's his professor, right? And Drew is asking him, like, yeah, for real, like, how do you not know what's going on with this guy? How do you not know who shot him, being that you so close to him, right? And he's like, listen, I don't know anything of what's going on. And he keeps denying. Of course, but Drew is just kind of looking right through him. And Monet's like, you know what's going to happen if you lying to me, right? You know what's going to happen. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'm sure of it. I swear I don't know anything that's going on. So she's like, all right. That's it. Then let's eat, right? So we'll see what happens, because the truth always comes out. So now Tariq is in the kitchen with Diana. Diana's taking out the product, and she's talking to him and talking about, what's going on. And he's trying to confide in her, like, yeah, there's a lot going on with my mom and this, that, and the third. So they're holding hands. They're about to get close in the kitchen. Monet's on the side listening to this conversation. She's like, yo, Diana, get in here and take these dishes, right? She's always on top of Diana, she's definitely cock blocking, right? She's like, I'm trying to help Tariq. And she's like, Tariq can handle it, right? Tariq, you can handle it, right? He's like, yeah, I can handle it, because he knows what's going on, right? So she's like, get in here right now, help me clean up these dishes, blah, blah. So she's just being a mom and keeping her away from Tariq, because she knows she has feelings for him. So Diana gives him a kiss on the cheek and hugs him or whatever. But we already know what's about to go down. We already know, right? Now, Professor Milgram and Zeke, they're in the bed together. And she's, again, still upset about what happened to Jabari. But she's asking Zeke, like, yo, how do you think that it's your family that did this and killed Jabari? And, of course, Zeke is like, nah, why would you say that? Why would they have anything to do it? And then she tells him that, well, Monet threatened to tell everybody that me and you are messing around. And Zeke is like, oh, she knows? He's like, yeah, she knows. And she threatened me and all of this and that if I didn't just cooperate and just didn't say anything. So, of course, Zeke is like, oh, man, for real, that's what happened? So he's upset about that. Meanwhile, your boy Tariq is being picked up by Braden, and he has the Prada bags, the Louis bags, and all this and that. So Zeke is like, yo, what is that, man? You went shopping? What's going on? It's weighing down the car. What's happening, right? So he's like, you want to see? He's like, yeah. So he opens up one of the boxes, shows him that there's some product in there. Of course, Braden is super hype. He's like, yo, when did you decide that you're going to do it, man? I thought you was undecided. He's like, yeah, well, we still in the game, a lot going on. But, we going to make this thing happen, right? So let's just do it. So Braden's like, listen, we can hide my car or hide it at, the countryside and the campus and whatever. We're going to go hunting. Let's go hunting and just leave it there till we decide what we're going to do with the product, right? So they're going to go hunting. Now, we got Mecca and Kane. And Mecca calls Kane to his spot. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, that's the cat that got away, right? He's like, yeah. So now you can handle him. You can either, beat him down or whatever, or you can kill him. And he gives him a knife. And Kane is like, yo, say less, right? So he takes the knife and he rolls over to the dude. And Mecca's just like, yo, listen, whatever you do with him will definitely let me know exactly what type of dude and what type of person you really are, based on what you do with this cat, right? So he's like, listen, man, I don't got to ask for nothing. And he cut off the straps. He cut off the, the binding that was holding the dude down. He's like, yo, let's fight. So they get into a fight and all this and that. Boom, he caught one, Kane caught one, and then he grabs the guy. He's like, yo, listen, man, this is what it is. And he snaps the dude's neck. Snaps his neck. So Mecca's like, okay, I see you. I see your work. I see how you get down, right? So that's what it is. Now, we got Diana, and she's dressing up Drew's wound, right? Because, he got shot, and they got to keep changing, all of that for it to heal properly. So they're going back and forth about, how Monet is kind of controlling their lives, and she didn't ask them whether or not they want to, be a part of Zeke going pro and being, a little puppet to Zeke while he's on the road. They're just like, what about our lives? So, they're trying to figure out a way in which they can get out of this and just live their own lives. So now back to Kane and Mecca, and Kane sees Mecca's product in the plane, right? So he's looking at it. He's like, oh, man, what is this? Mecca catches him. And it's like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, yo, I won't tell. I won't say anything. And Mecca's like, yo, I'm just supposed to believe you, like for real. Like you see all my product. And he's like, yo, I can help you out, man. He's like, yo, I see all this product, but I don't see, any muscle. You don't got anybody helping you. He's like, you think you can help me? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, you're going to have to do a whole lot more for me to even trust you, man. You know what I'm saying? So Mecca's really kind of testing him to see if he's for real about, moving the product and moving the weight. But of course, we know Kane could definitely move it one way or another, and he's going to find a way to do it, right? Absolutely going to find a way to do it. But he's like, yo, just give me a chance. Just give me a shot, and, I'm going to make it happen for you. Give me some of the product, and I'm going to move it for you. So, again, this is the beginning of the relationship between Mecca and Kane, and how Kane is going to definitely be real tight with Mecca as he's going to be moving this weight. Now we see your boy Tariq and Braden and his family, and they are about to hunt deer. That's right. Your boy's out in the woods. They all he's like, what is going on? Tariq is like, yo, what did the deer do to you? What did the deer do to y'all? Like, that y'all hunting it. You know what I mean? So they're like, all right, we're ready to go. So they get ready to go to hunt this deer. Meanwhile, Monet goes to see Zeke. He's on the ball court. He's like, yo, you've been avoiding my calls. He's like, yo, did you threaten my professor? And she was like, yeah, I threatened that messy chick, right? And he's like, yo, listen, now because you did that, she's asking a whole bunch of questions, standing there. And she's like, listen, don't worry about that. Listen, I decided, it's time for you to go pro. It's time for you to go pro. You got to do this for the family and make this thing happen. And he's like, well, I was thinking about that, whether or not I should do it, and he's thinking about the professor. And she's like, yo, listen, man. Stop with the distractions. Stop thinking about the professor. Get your head in the game. It's time for you to go pro for the family. It's going to benefit you and the entire family. So she's basically telling him what he's going to do. Meanwhile, your boy Kamal comes downstairs, but Rashad got himself together. He got himself cleaned up, and now he's on a mission to find out what's going on with his soon-to-be opponent. So, his brother's happy about that. He's like, okay, you got yourself together. That's good. Rashad says he's going to get an apartment or whatever. But he's like, listen, I need your help because I need to get into the police database to find anything on my soon-to-be opponent. So now we got Tariq and Braden, and they're in the trenches, right? They're waiting for the deer to come out, just like everybody else. So they try to shoot at the deer, and the deer goes down, and it's like, yo, let's go after it. And then they shoot again, and they almost hit Tariq in the head. So you know what Tariq does? You know what we would do? Somebody shooting at us, we start running. So Tariq just started running, and he runs after this deer. He's like, I got to get out of the way. They shooting, and then he runs up on the deer like, I got to get away from these cats trying to shoot at me. So he sees the deer lying on the ground, helpless, got shot, not really looking too good. And they all run over, and they're like, yo, you okay, Tariq? Braden's like, you okay? And he's looking down. Tariq is looking down at the deer, and all he's thinking about, again, he's seeing that wounded deer. All he's thinking about is the flashback to Jabari laying on the ground before he shot him dead, right? So he's phasing in and out, and the guy's like, hey, listen, you could take that kill shot. It's an honor for you to do that, while he's looking at the deer. And he's like, what? Tariq is kind of out of it, right? Because he's still phasing in and out of seeing Jabari, but he's also looking at his dad, Ghost, looking at his father, James St. Patrick, laying on the ground, and then sees, Tommy over him and looking up, and, Ghost is just like, let him go. James is just like, let him go. So he's reminiscing about everything, and then Braden goes ahead and does the kill shot to kill the deer, right? And then Braden gets on him like, yo, man, how could you let this happen? You almost shot Tariq, almost shot my friend. And Tariq is like, yo, this is BS. I'm out. Meanwhile, your boy Davis McClain, he goes to pay a visit. And he sees your boy Red Man, which is his brother. And his brother's locked up. He's playing his brother. And he's like, listen, man, I see you on the news. You're doing your thing. And Davis McClain is like, yo, man, I'm going to do what I can to get you out, man. That guy, that white guy, Sachs. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be the one to help me get you out. And he's like, yo, have I lied to you before? And his brother's like, yeah, you lied to me. And then they have a laugh or whatever. So now Monet, again, she is on super high alert. She hears something at the door. Somebody's trying to open the door, and it's your boy Kane. And Kane's trying to get in. He's like, yo, I need to talk to you. We got a new supplier. Let me in. But she walks away. So Kane goes back to his car like, man, she ain't let me in, da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, guess who is following him? Mecca is following your boy Kane. Now he sees where Monet lives in the whole nine. So he's following up with him. All right, now we shoot to Tariq. He's at the college. Again, he's looking at that burner, trying to see if his mom responded. He's waiting for his mom because he's really concerned about Yasmin, about grandma, and the whole nine. And then he looks at the burner again. And now the burner is ringing. So he's thinking, oh, maybe that's mom. Maybe she's calling me. Hopefully it is. So he answers the phone. Even though it says unknown, he answers the phone, but he just doesn't say anything. Come to find out, it's that detective on the other line. And he says, hey, this is Detective Whitman, and da-da-da-da. So Tariq immediately just hangs up. And he's like, yo, you got that? He's like, yeah, we tapped it. And it's coming from the campus, coming from the Stansfield campus. So now Tariq is like, oh, dang, right? So the detective was like, okay, we know that Jabari, this is the last number that Jabari called before, the night that he was shot. So Tariq is like, oh, man, what's going to happen next? And we shall see what's going to happen next in the next episode of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2. It has finally begun. Again, drop your theories, your thoughts as to what you think is going to happen next in the next episode. Definitely look out for the what to expect and our final predictions on that. But I want to hear from you guys as to what you think is going to happen. Tell me what you thought about this first episode. I thought it was a solid episode, solid foundation episode. And let's get into the next one, right? We're ready for the next one already. So you know what it is, fam. It's your man, VACAY-J. I'm out. Salute.